Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. Jota, and in this longer video I would like to speak a little bit more the news regarding to Timo Werner and the interest that apparently Ancelotti has on the German player. I mean, in England, in Daily Expres, yesterday an article came out claiming that Ancelotti has asked to Real Madrid to sign or try to sign to Timo Werner for the next season for Real Madrid. So we don't know exactly which one, I mean, whether Real Madrid or Ancelotti have been the one choosing to Timo Werner to sign for Real Madrid. Apparently that is coming from Carlo Ancelotti, who thinks that Timo Werner might succeed in Real Madrid. But there are a bunch of things that are like 2-3 different points I would like to speak about over this longer video and share with you so I can know your thoughts about that. I mean, I would like to give you all my own thoughts regarding 2 different, questions and points on Timo Werner. And then, of course, like always, I would like to know your opinions and thoughts about that. So let me go ahead and start with the details. And let's start speaking about what, in my opinion, means this potential signing for Real Madrid. So number one, is Real Madrid assuming with the signing of Timo Werner that they will be unable to sign Kylian Mbappe? Or better said, is Real Madrid assuming that they won't be able to sign Kylian Mbappe and that's why they are moving towards Timo Werner? Okay, in my opinion, the answer is no. No. The signing of Kylian Mbappe this year has nothing to do with Timo Werner. And although the top priority remains in the signing of Kylian Mbappe, Carlo Ancelotti thinks that Real Madrid has to strengthen a little bit more the attack for the next year. I mean, if you are able to sign both players, Kylian Mbappe and Timo Werner, then you are building up a very more powerful attack than the attack that Real Madrid has already. I mean, it's not the same to have 3 numbers like Karim Benzema, Kylian Mbappe and Timo Werner in the forward than, Benzema, Vinicius Jr. and Marco Asensio. Because if you look at the stats, there's no color. I mean, there's no comparison possible here. I mean, it's completely a nonsense, right? It's much better, it's definitely much better to have Kylian Mbappe and Timo Werner along with Benzema in the attack than, Vinicius Jr., Marco Asensio, Hazard, and Benzema in the forward of Real Madrid. That is pretty clear, okay? And that's why I don't think that if Real Madrid is moving towards Timo Werner, we have to assume that we are not signing to Kylian Mbappe. It's completely the opposite. I mean, it's completely the opposite. So there's no conflict between both signings. And in my opinion, if Real Madrid is able to go ahead and try to sign both players, they will. But here comes my second point, and very related to the first one. Is Real Madrid going to pay the 60 or 70 millions that we have to pay as a transfer fee for Timo Werner? I mean, is Real Madrid, or does Real Madrid have the money for, paying this super high transfer fee and then go ahead and pay even more money for Kylian Mbappe? No. The answer is no. So here's the point. Here's number 2, the second reason for the video. Real Madrid will only try to sign Timo Werner in case the Rafa Varane finally leaves Real Madrid. I mean, if Real Madrid, now that we have to assume that Sergio Ramos will stay and Real Madrid will have 4 players for the center back, in that scenario, we won't sign to Jules Koundé, who was supposed to be the 4th center back in case the Sergio Ramos and Rafa Varane leave Real Madrid. But now that we have to assume that Sergio Ramos will stay, we already have 4 center backs. So that way, if Rafa Varane leaves Real Madrid and Real Madrid get like 70 million euros for Rafa Varane, that way we will be able to spend the same money for Timo Werner. I mean, only in case that we have an extra additional income source, potentially from Rafa Varane, then we will be able and we will try to go ahead and sign to Timo Werner. If that doesn't happen, if finally Rafa Varane stays and we cannot get an additional income source like 60 to 70 million euros, in that case, Real Madrid won't sign to Timo Werner, won't even have any kind of negotiation for Timo Werner. You know what I'm saying? So we really need extra money to try or even to think about the possibility to sign to Timo Werner. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, say that Chelsea is setting an asking price for Timo Werner about, I don't know, 80 million euros, which is, in my opinion, a little bit high, but still doable. And Real Madrid makes about 60 to 70 million for Rafa Varane. So that way, if you have to pay like 10 to 20 million euros for Timo Werner, which is pretty much the difference between the money you had to pay for Timo Werner and the money you made for Rafa Varane, I'm okay with that. It's understandable. I mean, it's like to have a top player for a very little money. I mean, it's just about 10 to 20 million. That is not money. It's very few for Real Madrid, so it's doable. Okay? It's doable. We can use the money from Rafa Varane to sign Timo Werner, right? And then the third point I would like to speak about regarding to Timo Werner is, okay, once we have the money to pay and sign Timo Werner, is Timo Werner the right player? I mean, is Timo Werner the most accurate forwarder for Real Madrid? Or there are much more better forwarders out there instead? Okay, I lean to think that there are better players for that position, much better players than Timo Werner. I mean, although I think and I recognize that Timo Werner is a very, very good player, if you look at the stats, he was supposed to score about 20 to 25 goals in the first season because he was he was coming to play to Chelsea to become the most important player in the attack of Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was expecting for him to score about 25 to 30 goals per season, but he failed. And he only scored about 10 to 12 goals. I'm not sure about that, but 10 to 12 goals in the whole season. So it was pretty much disappointing for everybody because everybody was expecting about 25 to 30 goals, which is pretty much the average scoring that he had in Leipzig last season, the previous season. And that is the reason why he was signed up by Chelsea last season. But now, if Real Madrid is looking for, a player who is only able to score about 12 goals or even 15 goals as the top striker, the most important striker, the number one striker, forwarder, attacker, whatever you want to call it, and he has such a poor numbers, I mean, we are completely lost and we don't even know what are we doing. That is my honest and raw opinion about that. When you look at the transfer market, when you look at the, European top players, you still have, aside of Robert Lewandowski, Haaland, Cristiano, and all these players, you still have a bunch of good players in that range of goals. You know what I'm saying? For example, Andres Silva scored last season 26 goals, 26 goals with Eintracht de Frankfurt. You also have Lautaro Martinez. You also have still for example, Vlahovic. So you still have better players. And in my opinion, much more affordable players. You know what I'm saying? So I still think that Timo Werner is a very good player, but when it comes to Real Madrid, what we have to sign, again, like I said last week, you have to look at the numbers and say, hey, we need the top players. We need the top of the top, the best of the best. I mean, Erling Haaland, 45 to 50 goals every single season. Robert Lewandowski, 45 to 50 goals every single season. That is the kind of player, that is the profile we should be looking for the next season for our attack. Nothing less. Because when it comes to Real Madrid, we need the best of the best. I mean, if you are okay with a player who only scores 20 to 25 goals, you only have to bring back to Luka Jovic and that's it. You already have that kind of player. You don't need to pay an additional 60 million for Timo Werner because you already have to Luka Jovic who is able to score that amount of goals. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know what is going to happen with this. In my opinion, it's something that we should reconsider again a couple times, in my opinion, and before to go ahead and try to sign to Timo Werner, because there are better options, more affordable options, and of course, I don't know, better options for us for the next year. So now let me know your thoughts about that. Just comment in the section below, and of course, subscribe my channel, Real Madrid Hub.